Three things that I wish I would have known now that they didn't teach us in school is one about finances. That is huge because I feel like they do not teach enough about finances in school. So I would say finances. I would also love for them to teach about love, like what really is love. Because I think we know what love is, but when you start to grow and live life, that is really love is something, especially when in terms of relationships. What is love and what can love look like? And I wish they would have taught us that. And then also, love. And then also, I wish they would have taught us about mental health. I really wish they would have taught us more about mental health because I think that would have helped us a lot in life, right? Because, like I said, challenges come in life. But I wish they really would have taught us about mental health and like what does that look like and all of that. Because I think that that would have been super duper duper important to know is about mental health and how do you get through and what does mental health look like, right? Like in terms of like a positive state of mental health and maybe a not so positive state of mental health. Like what does that look like? I wish they would have dug deep into that and helped us. So those are the three things I would say. Finances for one, teach us about really what can love look like and what is love. And then also teaching us about mental health and so we can get that stigma out of the way and like, progress and do what's best for us. So those are three things.
Financial literacy, um, self-love, and self-care. Like I feel like those are the three major things, like being an adult. If you don't know about money, it will make your life very hard. If you don't have self-care and self-love, then you will live probably a miserable, depressing life. Mm-hmm. Really, like
you let people take advantage of you.
Yeah, yes, most definitely.
If you don't have self-love, you're not gonna demand respect.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that, you are just in your own standard, like, right? Not by society's standard, not by anybody else's standard. Like, just because you are who you are, like, you're enough. Like, legit, like, you just woke up and, like, how you look, like, I woke up like this, like, that's probably, like, you are enough. Like, just like that. And while you should strive to sort of be great and excellent in all that you touch, you should also be okay with being human, which means that you're gonna mess up. Like, you're gonna wake up and not know like certain things, and that is okay. You're gonna go to school and people might come for you, and that has everything to do with them than it does you, right? You're gonna meet adults who have not worked through their stuff, like grown adults, like teachers, aunts, your parents who have not worked through their stuff, and they're gonna try to like transpose, like, I don't even know if this is a word, like they're gonna try to transfer everything that they got going on to you and how they talk to you and what they say or don't say. And quite frankly, that's their work, that's not yours. And so you ain't gotta internalize none of it. It might hurt though, because quite frankly, I can tell you all day don't internalize it, but that doesn't negate the fact that like it hurts, right? Honor that pain. Don't try to be super girl. Don't try to hide the fact. Don't beat yourself up for feeling hurt, right? Honor the fact that you're hurt, that you're experiencing anger, which is a very real emotion, that you may be even experiencing sadness, but don't stay in it. Don't stay in it. To the extent that's possible, find something that like make you feel good, right? And so maybe even just like making your own like videos for YouTube, maybe that's like, creating IG or Snap stories, having fun with filters, doing like work in the community. I don't know, maybe somebody cool at your school, like a teacher who actually treats you how you should be treated. So you've taken a liking to like being, there, some like supporting them or like helpful in that sense. Maybe it's dance or some extracurricular. Like find something that's like an escape, right? Something that's yours, right? Find something that's yours.
Hard in school.
Hard in school.
That you wish you walked when you graduated. You wish you knew this. Fresh out.
Graduated. I wish that I knew you don't have to go to college to be successful. Saving and investing is important, and how to do so. I wish that they taught me how, besides me growing up and figuring it out on my own. And have fun. Make life fun. There's certain things to be completely serious about, but there's other things to just have fun with. And yeah.
I like that.
First off, I love you. If you don't even love yourself right now, I love you. And we gonna get through this. Whatever you're going through, whatever you feel like isn't gonna come to an end, whatever you feel like won't pass, it will pass. You must hold your head high. I give you 48 hours to soak and feel and be all up in all your mess, all you feel, cry, do everything, throw stuff, break stuff, do whatever you need to do to feel. But after that, wipe your tears and hold your head high. And use the resources, the supportive resources around you to get through whatever you need to get through. And we're going to get through this. And if you don't have anybody, find me. I'll be there for you. And I'll find somebody for you to stay on you because I believe in you. And you can do anything that you put your mind to. Put yourself first, put God first, and put yourself first. And the rest will flow afterwards. And make sure you do the work because nobody's going to do it for you.
In terms of financial literacy, what I would say to that is just making sure that you save more and you spend less. That's like one of the biggest tips I can give, because when you spend, you don't have a return on your investment. And so when you save, you do, because you're collecting and saving that money. And also, another tip I can give is to open a money market account or any account where when you put money in there, it's going to just start to stack up and they're gonna start to add more money and basically give you money, basically, even if it's 10 cents every time you put money in there, or 10 cents or 20 cents every week. After, if you start this now, you start this young, by the time you're like 25, you can have a good amount of money and just save whatever amount you can save, because that's gonna really be helpful. So that's what I would say in terms of financial literacy, is to spend less, save more. And then also, open up a money market account and just keep track of what you're spending and your budget, because that can be really helpful to keep you on track. So those are my tips for financial literacy, because I wish I would have done better with that. So,
So what advice do you have as far as like financial literacy?
So I used to be so mad at my dad for this, because he would be like, every money I get, Christmas, birthday, he'd be like, we're going to the bank. I'm gonna put it in your savings account. And I'm like, no, I got that I don't have any Barbie. Like, I need that, Daddy. Like, what are you doing? So he would make us go. We would learn how to fill out the form and do it and put our slips through the bank teller and then get our receipt and make sure we have it and keep track of that. And then he would create these spreadsheets for us. Yeah. So I would say learn all you can, save every little bit of money you get. Save it, put it in savings. But, and I'm going to add to that, spend some, pay yourself, learn to reward yourself. Because a lot of times we get caught up in paying bills, we get caught up in our responsibilities, and we forget to pay ourselves. But you can have fun, a little bit of fun, but make sure your responsibilities are taken care of.
Right.
Yeah. So learn all you can, go to these workshops, even though sometimes they may be boring. But in the end, it's going to benefit you. When you become an entrepreneur, when you get in your career, you want to have money left over for yourself. You don't want all of that to be invested into some company or your business. You need to see profit.
So regarding finances, I think one of the major things that I would tell anyone coming out of high school is to realize that everything that you want, all the material things that you want in life, you don't have to get them immediately. There's enough time to actually gain all that as you take the time to build up your skills, your career, the foundation that you're trying to create. Make sure to take the time to do that versus seeking after the material things. Some of the tips that I can think of related to finances would really start with first giving your finances back to God first. Always paying back what you've received so that you can make sure you give Him your first fruits. And I think that's really important because it's always important for us to remember that what we have isn't just from our own creation or the work that we have put in. God has put people in our lives or situations or jobs or opportunities in our lives to allow us to have what we have. So it's important to give back as much as we can.
Who really doesn't prepare students for real life. I think it's important to teach your children about money, about how to save money. I think they need to learn about credit early. I started working when I was 14 years old. I had my first checking account at 16. I didn't really learn about credit then, but by the time I was probably about 18, I know my mother taught me about, building your credit. I remember at 19, I got my first store credit card, which I still have. I bought one thing with it, paid it off, still have that same credit card. And I think it's important for you to show your children, teach your children how to work for the things that they want, and not just hand them everything, because it sets them up for failure. Because when they grow older, they think that that's how life really works, and it really doesn't. And I try to teach my girls now early, if you want things in life, you're gonna have to work for them. I can't just hand them to you, even if I have it. My oldest says it to me all the time, but Mom, you have it. It doesn't matter if I have it. It's not yours to have. So you have to learn to save your money, learn how to budget your money, learn that you need good credit in order to get the things you want, like a car, a home, things like that. And I think it's very important. I think high school definitely doesn't prepare your children for those types of things. So it's important that you teach your children about, you be a good steward over your own money so that they can see it. And then you teach them about being a good steward over their own money as well.
Store right around the corner from where I was living in Randallstown. I think I was getting paid like $7 an hour, and that was like, what? $7? Anything over $6.25. I know I was making more than people at Mickey D's, so I thought I was like, that was one of them good jobs. Good part-time jobs. And I think we got paid every week. What did I do with my money? I can't remember. Did I have direct deposit? I can't remember. If I could turn back the hands of time, I would say, I think I opened up a checking account, but did not open up a savings account. Open up a savings account. Even if it's like $2 a paycheck, open up a savings account. Don't get a credit card. Don't let nobody co-sign on a credit card with you. Don't let nobody use your social. You know what I mean? Like, don't stay away from the credit cards. Cause I struggle with that now. Jesus be a husband with some financial common sense. Because, so definitely create a savings account. Get in the rhythm of like budgeting. Cause I didn't honestly start budgeting or like thinking about budgeting until like maybe college, I think. I don't even remember, but I still struggle with budgeting now. So I would say definitely get in the habit of like, I make this much every week or every other week. This is how I'm going to spend it, right? Just have future in mind. Just have future in mind. And I think that's it with everything, right? With everything that you do, touch, invest in, have future in mind. Like, what does this mean for my future? And so open up a savings account, get like familiar with like budgeting, What else? If if you have the means, right? There are these apps now where you can like do coin investment, like penny investment.
When you had your first job, when you were in high school, leaving high school, entering the workforce, like what did you
Save your money.
Yeah.
I wish I knew the importance of saving money. When I first got my first job, I was 14. I got it at I was at a snowball stand. So I was making tips and I was making like minimum wage. It was like $6 probably then, like who knows. But I had money, but I really didn't have any bills. But I was just spending all my money. I was thinking of the things when you think when you're younger. Man, all the times your parents tell you that, well, do you have money for this? Well, now I do, so let me go spend it on this. Let me go spend it on that. So I did a lot of that. I didn't save any money. So one thing I would definitely say is save your money and save your money.
Right.
Yeah, and invest wisely. Definitely. All because you have it doesn't mean you have to spend it.
And literally, like you can find, especially the age of social media and app stores, because we didn't have apps on our phones back then. Figure out a way to do like automatic savings or investment. And so there's this thing where you can link your checking account to round up like every cent or every dollar, and it will throw it into like a investment piggy bank. You know what I mean? And so just research, like everything is Googleable now. Ways to begin investing as a teenager. I promise you, if you Google that right now, something brilliant is gonna come up. So care enough, like know that investing is a thing. I didn't know that investing was a thing. So if you're watching this, one takeaway is investing is a thing. Investment is pretty much like putting your money in this giant pool of like cash, and it's like, accumulated over time. Sometimes it goes down, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. But 20, 25, 30 years from now, there's more money than what you put in. And you don't even see it, right? And so I would say open a checking account and savings account, get in the habit of budgeting, and think about investment as a thing. Even though it sounds like something you don't need to be thinking about as a teenager, I feel like had I done that, I probably would be like even more fired than I am now.
Today, in terms of respect, is just think about that golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. Respect can go a long way. Right? I'm from the South, so it was a lot of yes ma'am, no sir, where I'm from, right? And I love that. I think that that's amazing. So even if you want to start there, yes ma'am, no sir, but more so just respect in terms of maybe saying yes instead of mm-hmm. That can be really helpful because, like I said, it can go a long way. You can, by being respectful to those around you, you are more likely to get opportunities that maybe you wouldn't have gotten. You're more likely to be able to just be a part of different experiences. People are more willing to help you when you're respectful. So, and you just want to be that for yourself. You want to be respectful for yourself because you want others to respect you. So if you're not respecting other people, we get what we give. And so when you're not respecting other people, maybe you're not getting it back. Let's kind of check in with that. If you are being respectful, and like I said, it can go a long way, and people are more willing to be helpful and love on you when you are respectful. So that's the advice I would give to any teen. It's about respect. Is just always think about that golden rule. You get what you give. Treat others how you want to be treated.
That reminded me of a family session that I had, and like the teen was actually trying to compromise with the mother, and the mother felt like she didn't have to compromise. And I'm like, we live in a different day and time, and it's okay to compromise. I feel like you're teaching your child to be independent. You're teaching your child to have a voice, right? It's no longer do as I say just because I said it. Mm-hmm. But they're asking real questions.
Right.
And it's up to you to decide how you want to respond. But I don't think it's unfair, and I don't think it's disrespectful to ask,
Mm-hmm.
What's the reason behind this?
Right.
Like it was like, what was it? They didn't decide on school clothes, what they wanted to wear. And the girl was like, since I pull it out every morning, how about we sit down and we go through my clothes, you know, so it won't be a discussion every morning, and put in the pile, don't wear this to school, and you wear this to school.
Right.
And I thought that was good, because I remember as a teenager, I was like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
For her to want to do that.
Right.
And then I was like, I don't understand. Why are I compromise? And da-da-da-da-da-da. And that's disrespectful.
That's not even a compromise. That's still making a choice, actually.
It's still making a choice. And but I didn't want to say that, because the girl, she thought it was as a compromise. We got her from all the way left field. We got her here.
Right.
She's here, Mom. So I said, disagreements does not equate to disrespect. And I hear a lot of what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because she does not agree with you, that you're equating that to disrespect, but here she is making a compromise, even though she doesn't agree with what you're doing. And the final decision is you can't wear that to school.
I like what you said.
Which
so
one?
a lot of, so you feel like a lot of times, and this is true, adults view disagreeing as disrespect.
Yes.
That's
A
right.
lot of times.
I agree.
I had to talk to my mom about that. I was like, she was like, oh, Jen. And I was like, Mom, just because I disagreed with you does not mean I disrespected you.
Mm-hmm.
And she thought about it. That's what I love that about my mom. My mom would think about it, and she'd say, you know what? You're right. That is
That's
so
true.
true.
I could apply that in my life with my teenager.
Yeah. Really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because he disagrees doesn't mean he's not, That's true. I like that.
Yeah. Like, you're not disrespecting me. I haven't called you out your name. I haven't said I'm not going to do it.
Mhm.
I just want to know, I just don't agree with that.
Right.
And I think that it's valid that you hear my point,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to have to do this in the world.
Right.
And you don't want to teach me that asserting myself, comes with a beat down. Like, I don't,
Right.
or whatever.
Right. I
Or,
like
or
that.
some kind of punishment.
Right.
Yeah, but I just
using your voice and speaking
Yeah,
up.
I'm just using my voice, and there's a way to do it
Right.
respectfully.
Mhm.
And I didn't hear disrespect in that. And at the end of the day, she was doing what the mama wanted her to do. So I just said, that's a compromise.
So
that's not even a
true.
compromise. That's something she decided to
I
do.
think so. Maybe it's like a miscommunication between the generations.
I think so too. I think there was one between my grandmother and my mother, and I think there was one between my mother and my generation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now they're starting to see, like, wow.
So in terms of respecting authority, I think it's important to understand that there's a difference between respecting and agreeing. So you can still be very respectful and still disagree with what someone is saying. So, and the reason I'm saying that is because I remember as a teenager, and I think in general, the teenage years are your most rebellious years. Not saying you have to rebel in a physical way or in a way that causes a lot of animosity or turmoil. What I'm saying is that it allows you, it's a time where you get to look at the world as it is and decide whether you're okay with it or you want to change it. And just from that decision alone, if you decide you want to change the world, like I see a lot of teens usually feeling, if you decide that, then you also realize that the people who are living in those times may not agree with you. And it's okay, and some of those individuals may be in a position of authority. It's okay to not agree with them. It's okay for there to be a conflict there, but still be respectful in it and still understand that you can still make your point. And there's a lot of ways, especially in America, where you can make your point, make your stand, and stick with it. And there's a lot of issues that we have going on where you can say, hey, I don't like that rape is still a thing that happens in our world. I don't like that young black men are looked at a certain way in our society. If you don't like those things, do something about it. But just recognize that there are people in authority that may be okay with that, or maybe they're not doing enough. If you want to change the world, change it, but you can definitely do it in a respectful way. That I've seen come through some hard situations and still be tremendously grateful, successful, and doing great things out there. And I think the common characteristic of all of them is that they just never gave up. They always believed that there was something greater. So I think that's it, So if there's any takeaway, realize that the time that you're in, the challenges that you're dealing with, the peer pressure that you're dealing with, all the things that are happening right now are only for a time. And then you get to move on to something else. But in that time, as much as possible, learn from it, grow from it. But still always believe in yourself. Still always understand that no matter what, you believe in you. You believe you can be successful. You believe that you can pick yourself up again and move on to the next thing. So that confidence in the fact that you are here for a reason, you're here to change the world, you're here to make it better. So keep focusing on that. Make that your mantra that you say to yourself all the time, that you're here for a reason, you're here to be successful, you're here to change the world. And then make it and do it.